folks, welcome back. We are so excited to have the co-owners of Hog Therapy and Associates with us tonight. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And you all were on a game show, I guess, intentional but accident. Who wants to pick up and lay the groundwork for this?
I'll give you a little bit of information about that. So Michelle, Brittany, and I, we were traveling to Los Angeles for a pediatric therapy conference. We have never been to LA. We're just three girls from Kentucky, so big California was, we wanted to do all the fun tourist attractions there. So what we decided to do, we were like, we're going to go fly in a couple days early before conference, and we're going to sightsee and do some shopping and do some tourist things. And what is more California than a game show? So I didn't know exactly how easy it was to get tickets. I was pretty surprised. I started doing some Googling and some researching and found out that Wayne Brady's Let's Make a Deal on CBS was actually airing during the time that we were going to be there. So I went on this website and I put in our information, and it emailed me 3 tickets immediately. I thought it was a scam. I didn't think it was really that easy to get them. They were free. So then we knew we had to dress up just because the show promotes a lot of positivity and good news. So we decided we were going to be the 3 little pigs because our last name is Hog. So it definitely fit.
Now, who wants to explain your relationship between the 3 of you?
I can do that. So Jennifer and Brittany, who are on one of the screens together, they're sisters, and then they're actually my first cousin. And so they're my cousins, and we all kind of ended up kind of by accident in pediatric therapy. And so then about 6 years ago, we decided, why are we all working for somebody else? We should come together and create Hog Therapy.
So we showed up to the casting call and we checked in. We knew for our shot to get on the show, we had to have a lot of energy and a lot of fun. We had read some blogs and kind of done a little bit of research about other people who've been on the show. So we came in and we were dancing and screaming and partying it up, and everyone was staring at us. No one was moving. No one was smiling. It was about 8 in the morning. Everyone, people actually started taking pictures of us, and we didn't really know what was going on, but we just kept it going the entire day. We didn't care what other people were doing or not doing, but we actually made a lot of friends in line, and we got them excited. We were giving people high fives and singing songs. And I actually started the wave during the audience, so I think they loved our energy. So that was something really cool that we brought there. So we checked in real quick, and they put you in a holding cell type room for about, seemed 2 hours. I don't know if it was actually long while they checked everyone in. And they had a green screen where you could take pictures and just talk with one another. So we really got to hear everyone's stories. So that was a really cool part about it. So when other people got their name called on the show, we were like, hey, that was our friend, or we know her. So it was a really cool experience in that regard.
Several of the people that we kind of became friends with were actually got to be contestants too. It's kind of like we kind of migrating towards the people that were also having a lot of fun and bringing a lot of energy. So.
Oh, that's cool. And you said it was 8 o'clock in the morning?
It started early. Yeah, it was pretty much an all-day event that we were not prepared for. I guess other people probably were from LA. They had done the game show, so they had snacks in their purse. And show up
they were pros.
We didn't know anything, but we had a blast and we had so much fun. And the really cool thing is, and I'll never forget this, after everyone signs up and you sign your paperwork, you get on a bus and they take you to the studio. I don't know if it's a confidentiality or privacy. They don't want you to know where the studio is.
It's the same thing.
That's
cool. So we were talking to one another and we looked at each other and we said, guys, someone on this bus is going to win something big. And I will never forget that conversation. And it's really cool that it happened to be us.
That
So
is
that was really
fantastic. So tell us about Wayne Brady. I'm a big fan of his from Whose Line Is It Anyway? So what's he like?
Super funny, super witty. I mean, obviously I don't know him personally, but
Sure.
on the show, I mean, he just, if you watched even our episode, I mean, he's just so quick to come up with things and just play off of what you say. So, and from talking to even, you know, some of the people who run the show, seems like a really just like great guy that cares about, you know, giving back and a lot about just being thankful. And, you know, they talk a lot about, you know, whether you win anything or not, you
Sure.
know, having like a grateful mindset and attitude. Because, you know, some people get on there and they might win, you know, a refrigerator and they're 18 and don't care about a refrigerator.
Right.
And so he's kind of like, you know, all of it is something to be thankful for. So I really enjoyed him. Thought he brought a lot of energy and was super fun.
Cool. So Brittany, how did this happen? I'm sorry, Colleen, I talked right over you. What's the storyline? Did you have to pick 1, 2, or 3?
So with the winning?
Yeah.
Yeah. So well,
Tell us
obviously
about the game. So anyone's just
Yeah.
now
What's the game set up like?
anyone's just now tuning in. The girls were on
So-
Let's Make a Deal. So tell us about the game.
Yeah, so let's make a deal. So pretty much there's just random games, and Wayne Brady will just tell you, like, it's either you choose like either a curtain or you choose like an envelope, you choose a box. It's always like a 50-50 shot on like what you could win. And so a lot of people, which we were obviously in the front row, but so they'd be like, take the big box or this envelope, and we would all be screaming like, big box, big box. And then it would end up being a zonk, which means you didn't win anything. And then I would
Okay.
feel really, really guilty that I feel like I lost the prize for them. But mainly just because we were really, really loud and we could just scream at them and tell them what to choose. And they went with a lot of our options, opinions.
Nice. That's cool. So how do they pick you from the audience?
You want to talk about that?
It's kind of random. We kind of, when I was doing my research before we went, I read a blog and they said the producers are always watching. You know, they want people on the show that have
Sure.
high energy and they're just energetic. So we kind of knew that going into it. So that's why we were just so crazy the entire 8-hour day, and we were literally
Wow.
exhausted afterwards. So even like when you're in the waiting room, there's people coming up and they're asking you questions like, what would you do if you won? What would you do if you won money? They wanted to see kind of what you would do and how you would react, and maybe what would you do with the money. So that was really cool. And we kind of caught on who was a producer at that time just by
Sure.
some of the questions they were asking. So by the time the show starts, they already have their mind set up, and they just tell Wayne at that time kind of who to pick.
Oh, nice.
For the show.
Okay. So they picked you all out front and said, hey, we've got to choose those girls.
Yeah, so we walked into the studio, and there's a producer there, and she tells you exactly where to sit. So we walked up, and they said, you three right in the front row, and we just kind of looked at each other, and we were like, oh my goodness, if nothing else, we're going to be on TV, and we're going to be silly and dancing, and we'll get a lot of airtime just being on the front row.
Wow. Nice.
Honestly, that was a win for us. I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, if none of us get on the show, like, this is great. It's been a fun experience, and we're on the front row. We're definitely going to be seen on TV, and it's a great day. So it was an added bonus when they called my name up, and an even bigger added bonus when I won my game.
Wow.
Tell us about the game. Tell us about the game, and then tell us something extra special about after you won.
Okay. Yeah. So, like Brittany was saying, most of the games are kind of pick this curtain or pick that curtain. Do you want this envelope? My game was actually a game where I had to run back and forth and actually do something, which was hilarious because I was actually 12 weeks pregnant. And I was like, of course, they picked the pregnant girl to do this running game. So my family joked, they said that I'd been preparing for this for years with all the like fun family games we do. So there were, I don't know, 30 keys or something over on a board, and then there was a locked box. And so I think it started with like 15 or 20 seconds, and he gave me $1,500, and he said that it could go towards our clinic. And so I was so happy. And then he said, well, here's the deal. For every $100 that you give me back, I'll give you another second on your clock. And so then I was really torn. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should give it all back and get 15 more seconds. I had already said that I wanted to give that money to our kids. And so we took a little moment to go over to the side, and he let me think about it. And so then I decided that I was going to keep $500 so that we at least brought back some of that to donate to our therapy clinic. And then I gave him $1,000. So it added 10 seconds of time to my clock. So I think I ended up with like 35 seconds or something.
Wow.
And then they just said go, and I'm running as fast as I can between the keyboard and the log box. And I'm not kidding. I unlocked that log box with 3 seconds to go.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
There was a little padlock, and when it popped open, I went berserk.
What was it like?
It was crazy. It's going to go down as probably one of the most surreal moments of my life.
Wow.
I was jumping up and down. They let Jennifer and Brittany come up on stage. You know, if you see the video, we look ridiculous. We were jumping. And
I think at one point I blacked out. 1 minute I was down there. Next minute I'm hugging Wayne Brady. The next minute I was in a car. I was like, I don't even know how I got there. I was like, whoa. It was crazy.
So that's what's next. So you open the box, and what did that mean in that moment? What did that mean?
That meant that I won a car.
Wow.
So it was a brand new 2019 Ford Fiesta. It was right there on stage. They're like, there's your car. Go get it. We laid on the car. We were in the car honking the horn.
Wow.
Just wild.
That's
Wild.
Great. So the money, so you have the option of keeping the car or selling the car? How does that work?
Yeah, so the best deal with them is to just go ahead and take the car. And then if you want to sell it or do something else like that, then do that on your own. And so that's the option that we picked. So the car actually got delivered to the front of my house a few weeks ago.
Wow.
The show aired, and then I had to hide this car. So I was kind of like, why did they send the car before the show aired? But that happened. So anyway, what we decided to do, I don't really need another car. It was kind of a team approach getting there. Jennifer set it up. We were there for our therapy company, and we had kind of said, when we were getting on the show, in the long chance that anybody gets on there, we want to give a good portion of the profits back, to help some of our families. And so, especially it's been really cool because this aired right in the middle of COVID. Right. And, we already decided that we wanted to use a lot of the money. I don't personally need a car. Neither of these girls, need a new car. And so we just kind of all decided that we're going to, sell the car. So we're taking bids for the highest bidder that wants to buy the car.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to use all the profits to go back towards, kids who maybe can't afford therapy or can't afford, certain therapeutic materials that they might need at home to help them. So we're really excited. It's been a really fun way that we can give back and, help our community anytime, but especially during this specifically harder time.
Right.
Absolutely amazing. It's so generous. So tell us a little bit about Hog Therapy and what you do and the services that you do provide.
So Michelle and I started Hog Therapy 6 years ago. Michelle's a pediatric speech therapist, and I'm a pediatric occupational therapist. Brittany joined us 2 years ago when she got out of school, so she's a little bit younger than we are. So we went ahead and started Hog Therapy. we had no idea that we would ever have any employees. We thought, honestly, it would just be Michelle and I, and we wanted to bring services closer to home. Before we started Hog Therapy, there was really nowhere in Madison County for kids with special needs or disabilities, or kids that may just need a little extra help. They were having to go to Lexington or Winchester to get services, so we knew that it was definitely a need. We graduated from Berea Community in 2004, so Brittany and I still live in Berea. Michelle lives in Lexington now, but Berea was really special to us, and we knew that this is something that we could provide our services to give back to the community. So we started just opening a very small office, Michelle and I, and then it started to grow and grow, and we really saw how many kids needed our help and our services. So we moved to a second location about 2 years ago, and it was a lot larger. And then we just started, hiring more therapists, and now we have a team of 19.
Wow.
And we just opened our Richmond office
Okay.
in September. So a lot of our kids were coming from Richmond, and even though Berea is, fairly close, after school times, that's an extra 35, 45 minutes of travel. So we wanted to be able to provide our services closer to home for some of those kids. So that's why we decided to open. So we do occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy, and we can see kids 0 to 21. So we see itty little babies, and then we see some
Wow.
older kids as well. And then Michelle's brother, Ed, is a clinical psychologist,
Okay.
and he comes in and does some testing or standardized reports when needed, kind of as an on-call.
So, Brittany, where's your locations and your website and Facebook page, I take it?
Yep.
Yeah. So obviously we're located in Berea,
Okay.
752 Richmond Road North. And then we just opened up a clinic in September, kind of like Jennifer was saying, in Richmond. So we're close to, it's on Jason Drive, which is right behind Kid to Kid.
Right.
And next to the Dairy Queen and Dunkin' Donuts, which is good and bad for everybody.
Now, I do have a question. So, you all still have the costumes?
We do actually. For the airing of the show yesterday, we all put our costumes back on and
Nice.
we had a Zoom call with one another, and we were cheering and yelling and screaming. And we didn't tell hardly anyone. Of course, Michelle had to tell her husband, and I leaked it to my husband. But other than that, our parents didn't know, our grandparents didn't know.
No one knew?
So we watched it.
I had to sit in like a 2-hour meeting with a lawyer from Let's Make a Deal where they pretty much told you you'll lose your prize if you tell anyone.
Wow. Oh
So
my
we kept
goodness.
this big secret for 7 months. So when it finally aired
7.
and we were able to scream, and my mom and dad were like, I can't believe you didn't tell us. And but it was really cool to be able to see one another, even though we weren't able to physically all get together during this time. We were able to get on, a Skype call and see each
Sure.
other with our costumes. So
That's
that was really
great.
cool.
That's great. Colleen, when we get our studios back up,
Yes.
we'll have to have them on, and then they'll have to come in costume.
Of course. Love that.
We
I
can
can
do that.
yeah, imagine.
We're probably going to frame those costumes.
Of course, they're famous. And I know we were talking a little bit before we were on camera with you guys that you are offering telehealth services now as well. We just talked about the location, but is that something that you are expanding right now?
Yeah, one of y'all want to hit that or you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so when the governor kind of shut down outpatient clinics during his 5 o'clock announcement, we had about 24 hours to close our doors. And there's so many of our kids that really depend on our therapy services, and we help so many families. We knew that during this time we needed to stay connected to them more now than ever. They really need our support, and we knew that they could do the therapy that we provide. We just had to coach them and train them on that. So that's been the really cool part about teletherapy, that a lot of the times, for kids especially that get weekly therapy, you get into the routine and the flow, and maybe the parent has other kids or they're not there all the time with us. So that's been one positive about teletherapy, is that our therapists are really able to connect with the parents and train and coach them, because we're not there. So they're having to be the therapist during this time. So we fought really hard. Some of our insurances weren't wanting to approve teletherapy. So we jumped on board with that, and we contacted our state boards and some of our legislation for our therapy in our state, so we could get those insurances to approve. And we have about 50% of our kids on teletherapy right now. So
Wow.
the people who decided not to do it, it was some personal reasons and stuff like that, of course. But it's really cool to be able to provide that for a large percentage of our kids still.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, that's really cool.
You know, our therapist jumped on board, like Jennifer said. You know, it was a quick turnaround, and so they've been awesome. We have a great team of therapists that have really, you know, jumped right in, done the hard work to figure out how to make it work, how to make it engaging and fun for our families. We came up with the idea to create these little therapy boxes that had different materials that the kids might use in therapy, just because we don't know what all, you know, some of our families have at home. So all of our therapists pitched in, we created those, and we hand delivered them, left them in mailboxes and on front porches when all this started, so that we at least had, you know, some kind of, you know, base starting ground of knowing what we could work with. And then the second shout out is just to our parents, because we couldn't do teletherapy if they weren't on board. And so, you know, a lot of our parents, like Jennifer said, you know, at least 50% of them have really gotten behind it, you know, are really doing the hard work to coach, you know, their kids on what we're coaching them on, and making it work. So it's really been a cool way to see how everybody's worked together to keep helping these kids make progress and reach their goals.
It sounds fantastic. You all are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. We try our best.
You're doing an amazing job, and what you have done in a very exciting and unexpected way is just amazing, and you are making the difference in lives here, and we appreciate you so very much. So thank you for taking your time to be with us tonight. We can't wait, as Randy says, to join you in the studio someday, I'm sure, with those infamous.
Yes.
Yes, that's great. That's great. And yeah, actually hug. You can hug people.
Yeah, this is very hard for me, ladies. I'm a hugger. This is hard for me. So thank you all.
We'll have to reenact our the winning second there.
Oh, we should. We should do a reenactment, and I can even put you in front of a green screen of the set. And I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, Michelle, and Brittany.
Yes,
Thank you so much for having us.
Hog Therapy Associates, we appreciate it. All right, folks, we'll be right back.
Watch Madison County Live premieres on Facebook and YouTube every Saturday evening at 8 o'clock, with replays at 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Sundays on Facebook. And of course, always throughout the week on the Madison County Live Facebook page.